Good day everyone, welcome back to my channel. Now, as you can see, my room is actually in a mess. That is before I do the renovation. Now, just to take note, living in Singapore, right, most of the houses, in fact, they are built with concrete walls, so it's not so easy to actually trunk cables, whereby overseas, right, since the buildings is actually made of, or should I say the houses is actually made of drywall, you can just nail on the wall or drill through holes and things like that. So in Singapore itself, right, it's slightly different. And I did make some inquiries on how to actually do my room with a contractor and to get stuff from IKEA, but somehow I find that it's very expensive. Let me just show you what I've actually planned. Now, for plan A, right, intentionally I wanted to actually get things from IKEA and to engage contractors to actually do my wall, and that's it. So shopping at IKEA itself, right, I need 2 tables. Of course, 2 tables, you need 8 legs. Then followed by the horizontal trunk, whereby you conceal your cables. And some add-ons. This is actually an additional add-on where I require to lift up my monitor. So when I total this up, right, exclusive of assembly and delivery. Now, take note. I can assemble the table myself, but paying the delivery fee itself, right, this is excluded, which costs $309, about $310. So when I total up with the delivery fee, I guess it's about $50. You come up to a sum of $359.80, which is about estimation $360. And to engage a contractor to do up my wall, to clean up my wall and to dispose my furniture, right, they charge me with this. That includes the cleaning of the wall itself, pasting of wall material, the cleaning chemical that they require, disposal of my old furniture, which cost me about $580. So when I total up this sum itself, right, it's actually $939.80, which is actually $940 estimation. So this is actually a total cost. Looking at this cost itself, right, well, it's kind of costly to me. So I came up with plan B, which is I get my own tables, I get the wallpaper itself. Of course, I measure them properly. It's in fact 34 meters times 60 mm wide. Then I got the 6-way multi-plug, which is actually meant for my PC, my monitor, my additional plug that I'm going to use, the 2-way plug for my router and my ONT device, my printer, and my TV. Okay, so I got this. And of course the 4-way plug, which is actually for my mode desk, which I've actually created a workspace for myself, which I'm going to show you later. And some PVC pipes, as in like, not pipes, sorry, concealers where you can actually hide all the cables. And now, as mentioned, right, most of the walls here, most of the houses here in Singapore, they are made of concrete. They are not drywall. So difficult to actually nail all this PVC concealer onto the wall. And sometimes you might not know that there might be electrical wires running inside the concrete wall itself. So instead of nailing, I would actually make use of the 3M double-sided transparent tape. Then this section here, right, I purchased this to actually do up my microphone stand because I'm having some problems with that, which I'm going to show you later. And when I total up the cost itself, this is the actual cost, which is $460. Now, this is the total cost that I've saved, which is $479.63. So having to say this, right, I know my desk right now, though I have actually done the renovation itself, my under desk is messy. I can actually make use of this sum of money to get some pedestal or some shelving. Now, I'm not going to talk too much, but going to bring you to the tools that I'm going to use for this project and how do I actually create this dream station of mine. Right in front of you are just the equipment that I've actually used and the materials that I've actually do on my build itself, or should I say my room. Basically, I will just use a pair of scissors, sharp pen knife, a wire cutter, a level gauge meter. Now, what does this do? Well, basically the wall is actually not flat. So as you can see, right, just an example, the wallpaper itself, the line. So imagine that you are pasting on the wall itself and you paste your first set and you continue on with the rest of the set. So if you don't use this to actually set it balanced, okay, how you use this, right? In fact, there's a ball here. So when the bubble goes in the center itself, right, it's actually a line. Meaning you say that it's straight. It's straight. So you can just align accordingly, and you don't have to worry that there will be a gap in between when you paste the wallpaper on the wall itself. So something to take note on. And of course, this is just a pen for me to do some markings when I do the trunk. And steel rule, set of screwdrivers which I use to actually do up my microphone stand. Now, pasting of wallpaper itself, right? A lot will just use the they call it a squeegee, or to use a credit card. But I will not use a credit card; it's too hard. Reason being, right? I'll show you later. I would prefer to use a cloth instead of the credit card or the squeegee, because the material is actually soft and it's sponge, and you can just dab slightly. I can tell you, if you use a cloth, right, your wallpaper will not crumble, or should I say leaving wrinkles or having the air bubbles trapped inside. Then I have cable ties, thicker ones and the smaller ones, and I purchased this just to cramp my microphone, or should I say my microphone stand, and some screws. Now let me just clear this and I'll be right back showing you the correct way on how to actually tape the wallpaper on your wall itself. Now, just to share with you some tips on how I actually use the razor blade or pen knife. Basically, right, first thing I'll do is actually check the tip itself. If the tip itself, as you can see here, is not sharp, I will normally break the blade itself. See, so that you have a sharp pointy edge. This will give you a very clean cut. Now, often people would like to cut, just an example, they like to actually do this, fold into half and do this. I wouldn't say it's actually wrong, but if you do see closer, right, the cuts itself, it gives you a concave kind of how should I say, a fold. So when you do this on a wallpaper itself, right, there might be chances of trapping air inside and it might just fall off. So don't do this. Now for normal paper cutting, right, if you want a straight line, I would do this. This is only meant for paper, okay? If you fold into half, don't cut like that. Cut like this. There you have it. It's straight and nice. Now, for wallpaper itself, right, do the same. As you measure, there are measurements over here. So as you measure the wall with your how should I go? Oh, measuring tape. You just measure it and make sure that how many meters you want. You can actually read on the paper itself. Then you cut. It's that easy. Now, to tape a wallpaper on the wall itself, right, as I mentioned to you, the line over here, when you tape, assuming this is actually the wall itself, and the wall, as I mentioned, is not straight, it will never be right angle. So you will need to use this, the level meter, or should I say the level ruler, where I've actually explained to you earlier. Look at the ball, or should I say look at the air bubble inside. When the bubble, right, hits the center itself, it means to say it's straight. So assuming that it's actually this, and you just go against here. Okay, align. Of course, you align it first. Flush means to say this is actually parallel to your wallpaper. Then you gauge, do some minor adjustment until the ball goes to the center, and you paste it. That's how you actually get a vertical, the horizontal perfect straight lines on the wall itself. Taping a wallpaper, right, do yourself a favor. Do not tape wallpaper across. Let the gravity do the job, meaning to say, always paste from the top to the bottom. And before you tape this, right, when you're on the ground, just fold this, peel this off. This is actually a sticky wallpaper. Peel this off about this length. It's less than about 2 cm. Then you tape on the wall. And as you tape on the wall, right, let me just show you an illustration over here. Okay, assuming this is actually done. People tend to use credit cards, and when they pull, right, at times when they shove, and the wall itself is actually not straight, as I mentioned, there are some concave and convex curvature. So accidentally, you might just scratch. See, I've scratched. All right. So the best way to actually tackle this problem, right, is in fact to have a cloth. So when you tape it on the wall itself, right, and your wall, I know that your wallpaper is going to be very long because it's about maybe 2 meter or 3 meter long from top to bottom. Let the gravity do its job. So assuming that this is actually the wall itself and this is actually floating down, it's actually pulling straight the wallpaper. So when you do the pasting, right, just use this cloth. Okay, it's kind of hard for me to actually do it downwards because of the camera angle. So I'll just pull this thing slowly. Pull the, I should say, pull off this thing, leaving the tape sticky side downwards. So you can actually just do this. See, it's pretty simple. You just need to smudge both sides. And as you can see, and do it like not in one go, but probably about, I would say, an inch by an inch, slowly down. As you can see here, right, there's some air bubbles here. I'm not too sure if you can see. So at this point of time, right, I can just use the cloth to push the air bubbles out. Then I continue on with the process. So by the end of the time when you do this, right, you're going to have a perfect straight wall here. So I hope you guys can understand what I'm actually trying to show you. I'll go on with the process of how I actually do on the actual project itself. I'll be right back. This is something which I have not done on this renovation itself, but it's worth mentioning it. This was actually done in the year of 2012, whereby my internet point is actually located at the living room. And I'm having a lot of frustration having good signal, Wi-Fi signal in my room and to the rest of the rooms. So what I did is actually I do the trunking myself. Now, if you notice on the right hand side, right, I've actually nailed this trunk using a nail, and it's very difficult because the wall itself is not drywall, as I mentioned, it's concrete. So this is actually how I lay. Then at certain point, right, I need to actually drill through a hole through the concrete. So I will need to actually use this electrical detector to detect if there are any wire cables concealed inside the concrete wall. See, I start to drill a hole and see, it's a big mess. So if you guys thinking of drilling a hole through a concrete wall, right, think twice, because you will need to actually buy stuff like this joint compound to patch it back, and it's pretty ugly. But luckily it's actually at the corner of my room, so it's not that bad. So I continue to trunk all the way up to the ceiling, and then down, which is here, and then down over here, which reach my so-called destinated area. This setup is actually done on year 2012. Okay, followed by I will show you the actual process whereby I renovated my room by cleaning the walls, pasting the wallpaper, fixing stuff like the tables and such. So let's get to it. During the whole process itself, I've actually not mentioned about the mic and the concealing on the monitor stand. Now, I'm just going to do a recap. Now, previously what you have seen, right, in fact, this is the one that I'm actually talking about, the microphone stand that has this shaft that goes through this holding here. However, this holding itself, right, or should I say this clamp itself, is not able to fit my table. So I got to remove this rod. As you can see on your right hand side, I removed this rod and I can flush in due to the fact that between the two tables, right, there is a gap. So I'm able to actually fit it in. And what I did was place some solid wood into it so that this clamp here will hold. But having to say this, right, I will need to actually get this bracket here to hold the whole clamp, the microphone clamp, to give it more strength. So that's the reason why I've actually get the screws and this pipe clamp here to clamp it over here, and to screw the screws right into my table so that it will hold. So as I plug the microphone stand, right, it will not wriggle or it will not drop off. Now, to conceal all those cables that as you can see on the right, you don't see those cables at all. So I've actually made use of Velcro stripes and zip tie, and all the cabling, right, that involves in my audio interface, my KVM, my audio switch, and my USB hub, they are all tucked underneath this I should say this shelving itself. This shelf itself, right, I've actually done it myself using some scraped wood. In fact, this plank here, I have actually sawed it off from my bed frame that I've actually disposed. So this is how it looks like. And as you can see, right, there are no cables. Now this is actually the final product, and beneath it's very tidy. But the thing is that as I mentioned, right, I'll be getting shelvings to actually place all this stuff, so it will be neater. And this is actually the mode area that I'll be doing all my PC modes, other kind of modes over here. And beneath, right, all this in fact are all my mode materials. Okay, they are not empty boxes. They are full of things like wire mesh, fans, additional clips, acrylic plexiglass, I should say, then some other stuff, and my toolbox and my crimping tool. So yeah, I'm gonna get some shelving to actually place all this in. Alright, so hope you guys have actually enjoyed throughout the whole journey of my Dream Workstation, and if you've got questions, feel free to actually ask. Till then, take care, goodbye.